All right, so here we are again. We're looking at my little tin plate, and I got this one a little too warm. You can see that and when I made it into AUPV, I got it a little too warm. So I've been using it to play with, but I got them actually um, to make wheels with, and I've been looking for like an alternative to rubber tires. Um, and this is it. This isn't a good fit, but I can take this 1 inch hemp rope and make it into a bioplastic that is absolutely non-toxic and can be, put back into the garden when you're done. And you can reuse the wheels, of course. Um, and you can just replace this when you need it. But I think it'll last longer than rubber tires will. And for a dirigible that I'm going to be landing and just kind of setting it down, I mean, it'll roll, but it doesn't have to, drive on the street. It's just to roll around a little bit on the ground. Um, so it's something viable for my uses. Um, and I can splice this together, which is kind of what I'm doing down here. Um, Splice this together so that it's a continuous loop, and then you put either another plate up there, and you have like a wheel shape, like that. And I can do, more than one turn. I do 3 turns, 2 base turns, and one sitting on top. And then I've got like a radial tire shape. Um, and I put my Elmer's glue and kaolinite clay on and soak it into the cannabis fiber, and which absorbs it really well, and it absorbs the clay. And when it dries as hard as concrete. You can get it that hard anyway. Um, and this becomes something that if I mix it with some shellac, and shellac is made from the lignin of bamboo. Lignin is what makes wood hard. And that lignin is what makes shellac a beautiful bioplastic. And that's what it is. It's a bioplastic. And when I make this stuff with the Elmer's glue and the dust, and it turns into something hard, when I coat it with the shellac, and it's got dust in it too, right? The dust acts through the plastic and creates double covalent bonds inside the plastic. So it's really strong, and hemp rope won't wear out. It doesn't wear out like cotton does because the fibers are really, really long. They are impervious to salt water, and we use them in plumbing. They used to use the fiber in wooden ships. And these fibers are what we call oakum. And you can take this and it will fill the gap around like pipes and things like that in plumbing, old-fashioned cast iron plumbing, or in between the boards of the hull in a wooden sailing ship. And so this hemp rope is gets to be as harder than steel actually. It'll scratch steel. Um, and then with the shellac on it, it becomes like a stick, as hard as a stick. Doesn't rot in salt water, doesn't wear out, it doesn't break, right? For my dirigibles, if I bump into something, it doesn't break. It's not going to come apart and dump the passengers out in the middle of the air or something. There's no reason why my dirigible should ever bump into anything, though. So, but you never know. You just gotta take in all the contingencies, and this stuff doesn't break when you're in a high stress situation, and this is probably strong enough to I don't know, lift the mainsails on a large sailing vessel. Half of the old wooden sailing ships were made out of cannabis. And the people in the 13 original colonies in the United States were, the landowners were given land for the promise of so many board feet of oak and so many tons of hemp per year for the king's navy. And the king was, of course, doing war against the Spanish, and so that's what the colonies were set up for. It wasn't set up for our freedom at all. It was set up for growing stuff for the war effort. And cannabis fibers also make clothes and paper and houses and cardboard and about 10,000 other things. And that's just over here at my house. And it grows in your garden, which is 10,000 things you don't have to buy from somebody else. And that, brothers and sisters, is why it's illegal.